What if Yoriichi was reincarnated as Tanjiro? Now, I'm gonna keep the beginning exactly the same because I don't want Yoriichi completely breaking the timeline right from the start, and honestly, it would make the story way harder to write. So we're gonna say Yoriichi gains consciousness after the whole beginning episode already happened, so he's just now meeting Giyu. Now, when Yoriichi snaps in and realizes he's alive again and sees Giyu holding Nezuko, he instantly gets all of Tanjiro's memories up to that point. He realizes Nezuko is his sister now, and he wants to save her no matter what, so he starts fighting Giyu with just the axe. Now here's the crazy part. Even though he has Tanjiro's body, Yoriichi still remembers all of sun breathing. So he starts using sun breathing against Giyu right there, and honestly, Giyu gets defeated. Now Giyu was never trying to kill Tanjiro or Nezuko in the first place, so once the fight is over, they calm down and become allies. But this changes everything. Instead of sending Tanjiro off to train for 2 years and go through final selection, Giyu already knows this guy is way beyond normal demon slayer. He literally just got beaten by someone using an axe. So using his position as a Hashira, Giyu pushes for Tanjiro to immediately start working with the Demon Slayer cores. Now, I don't know if that would actually work in canon, but we're gonna roll with it for this timeline. After all, if somebody can defeat a Hashira with an axe while knowing sun breathing, there's really no point making him spend years training just to prove he's strong enough, and from this point on, whenever I say Tanjiro, just remember it's actually Yoriichi inside Tanjiro's body. So Tanjiro is basically just going around figuring out what happened over the last couple hundred years since he was alive, and a lot of things have changed. There are a bunch of different breathing styles now, and some of them actually came from the breathing styles that Yoriichi helped create with the Hashira of his era. So he goes around visiting Urokodaki and some of the other Hashira, learning about all the different breathing styles and even giving them pointers. Now, you guys are probably wondering, why would they take pointers from Tanjiro? Well, they really wouldn't know it's Yoriichi at first, but Yoriichi already knows every breathing style because he was there when they were first created, so he understands them better than anybody else. Now, here's a big difference. Yoriichi doesn't have the Demon Slayer mark, and that's actually a huge deal. In the original timeline, Yoriichi was born with the Demon Slayer mark. Being born with it and awakening it later are two completely different things. If you're born with it, you already have all those boosts from the start. This time, Yoriichi has Tanjiro's body, so he doesn't automatically get all that power. He still remembers everything, but he has to awaken the mark like everyone else. The problem is, Yoriichi is so strong that it's actually hard for him to get pushed into the kind of life or death situation needed to unlock it, so he probably doesn't awaken the mark early on. What he can do though is unlock the transparent world. He already knows how it works from his past life, so it's only a matter of time before he starts using it again. Anyway, I think everything basically stays the same all the way up until Mount Natagumo. And if you guys are wondering about Inosuke and Zenitsu, I honestly don't think they would spend much time with Tanjiro before this. Yoriichi is spending most of his time talking with the Hashira and learning about how the world has changed, so they probably don't really become a squad like they did in the original timeline. They would still meet at Mount Natagumo, but not for very long, because once Yoriichi gets there, he wants to deal with all the demons as fast as possible. When Yoriichi reaches the mountain, he directly defeats all of Rui's demons and goes straight to Rui himself. This is obviously very easy since Tanjiro already has the transparent world, fully mastered sun breathing, and he's literally Yoriichi. He's just on a completely different level. After defeating Rui, Shinobu, and Giyu show up. Giyu recognizes him from before, and they bring him in since he's still traveling with Nezuko. Now, since Yoriichi has Tanjiro's memories too, he already knows Nezuko is good, so the Hashira meeting basically happens the same as the original timeline. He could easily fight back against Sanemi if he wanted to, but he doesn't really need to. Anyway, the Ubuyashiki family vouches for him, and most of the Hashira do too. Yoriichi had already spent time talking to some of them and giving them advice, so they respect him a lot. Since he defeated a lower moon, he's given the opportunity to become a Hashira, and he accepts it, but the Ubuyashiki family wants him there, so he becomes a Hashira anyway. Now we move into the Mugen Train arc. Since Tanjiro wasn't injured during Mount Natagumo, he goes with Rengoku right from the beginning. He helps Rengoku defeat the speed demon, and then they board the train. They probably still get caught in Enmu's dream trap, but it really doesn't matter. Once they wake up, Tanjiro goes and defeats Lower Moon 1 pretty easily, while Rengoku protects the passengers. The train still derails, and then Upper Moon 3 arrives. This is where the timeline completely changes. Akaza shows up expecting another easy fight, but instead, he has to fight Rengoku and Yoriichi. Tanjiro is using the transparent world and mastered sun breathing. Rengoku is backing him up with flame breathing. At first, Akaza is excited because he's finally fighting strong opponents, but as the battle continues, he realizes something is wrong. Every attack he throws gets read. Every movement gets predicted. The transparent world lets Tanjiro see right through him, and Akaza starts getting overwhelmed. Eventually, Tanjiro lands the decisive blow and cuts off Akaza's head. Akaza begins regenerating, but just like in the original timeline, timeline, he remembers his past life, his wife, and everything he lost. This time, he accepts death much sooner and finally passes away. But before he dies, Muzan sees everything through Akaza's eyes, and what he sees terrifies him. For the first time in hundreds of years, he sees someone using sun breathing at a level that reminds him of Yoriichi. The moment Akaza dies, Muzan immediately calls an Upper Moon meeting. He knows something is wrong. Upper Moon 3 is gone, a Lower Moon was already killed. So the only thing that really happens at the Upper Moon meeting is they talk about the rankings. Since Akaza is dead, everybody moves up one spot. Doma becomes Upper Moon 2, Hantengu becomes Upper Moon 3, Gyoko becomes Upper Moon 4, and Gyutaro and Daki move up too. Other than that, the meeting is pretty short because Muzan is more focused on the fact that somebody is using sun breathing again. Now we get to the Entertainment District arc. Tanjiro still goes with Tengen, Inosuke, and Zenitsu. I know Tanjiro never really became close friends with them in this timeline, but they would still be sent on the mission together. I'm gonna skip most of the dialogue and get right to the fights. Everything basically happens the same until Daki reveals herself as an Upper Moon. Tanjiro immediately realizes how strong she is and joins the fight. Unlike the original timeline, Daki doesn't stand a chance. Tanjiro is already a Hashira, has mastered sun breathing, and can use the transparent world. Daki gets completely overwhelmed. The only reason the fight lasts longer than a few seconds is because Gyutaro finally emerges from her body. Now things get interesting. Tengen starts fighting Gyutaro while Tanjiro deals with Daki. Inosuke and Zenitsu help where they can, but they're mostly supporting fighters compared to what Tanjiro is doing. Gyutaro immediately realizes Tanjiro is the real threat and tries to focus all of his attacks on him. The problem is that Tanjiro can see everything coming. With the transparent world active, Gyutaro's attacks are getting predicted before they even happen. Every sickle strike, every blood demon art, every surprise attack gets read instantly. Tengen is honestly shocked watching this happen. Eventually, Tanjiro switches targets and joins Tengen against Gyutaro. Now Gyutaro is getting pressured by both of them at the same time. Daki tries to help her brother, but Zenitsu and Inosuke keep her occupied long enough. Gyutaro lands a few hits, but nothing major. Tanjiro is simply too skilled. Sooner or later, both heads are cut off almost at the same time. Upper Moon 6 is defeated. This means Tengen never loses his arm, never has to stop his heart, and never comes close to dying. Nezuko still uses her blood demon art to burn away the poison and heal everyone. And just like that, Upper Moon 6 is gone with far fewer injuries than in the original timeline. The Demon Slayer Corps is now in an even better position moving forward, and Muzan is starting to realize that the new Sun Breather is becoming a serious problem. So next is the Swordsmith Village arc, and it really basically doesn't change because Tanjiro and the two Hashira already won the fight in the original timeline. Obviously they have a way easier time now since Yoriichi is there and already knows all of sun breathing and everything, so they still defeat Upper Moon 4 and Upper Moon 5. Muchiro still unlocks his Demon Slayer mark and defeats Gyoko. Mitsuri still fights Hantengu, Nezuko still becomes immune to sunlight, and that's basically it. Everything else happens pretty much the same. Now we get to the Hashira training arc, which does change. Since Rengoku is still alive, he takes Muchiro's training spot. Rengoku already trained people before, so he would be a really good teacher for the Demon Slayer Corps. But instead of Tanjiro training, he actually starts teaching, because he's Yoriichi. He already knows everything about sun breathing, the Demon Slayer mark, and the transparent world, so he starts helping the Hashira unlock their Demon Slayer marks and teaching them how the transparent world works. Because of this, the Hashira become way stronger than they were in the original timeline. Then everything goes the same until the Infinity Castle arc. Ubuyashiki sacrifices himself for the Demon Slayer Corps, Muzan arrives, the mansion explodes, and Muzan traps all the Demon Slayers inside the Infinity Castle. Upper Moon 3 is already gone, so that means Giyu and Tanjiro never fight Akaza. Let's go over the side battles first. Zenitsu still fights Kaigaku, and just like the original timeline, Zenitsu wins with 7th form. Then we have Yushiro, Mitsuri, and Obanai versus Nakime, the Biwa woman. They eventually take control of the Infinity Castle, and that's basically how that fight ends. Now we get into the two Upper Moon battles. Upper Moon 2 basically starts the same, but Giyu arrives before Shinobu can get seriously hurt, so Giyu and Shinobu start fighting Doma together. Then Rengoku finds his way there and starts helping them. Later, Kanao and Inosuke arrive too. At that point, Doma is completely overwhelmed. With Giyu, Rengoku, Shinobu, Kanao, and Inosuke all fighting together, they finally take down Upper Moon 2 for good. Now we have the Upper Moon 1 fight, and this one is really interesting. Tanjiro arrives there first with Muchiro right behind him, but this time Tanjiro wants to fight Kokushibo alone, because this is basically Yoriichi. Yoriichi knows everything about his brother. He knows how he fights, how he thinks, and all of his weaknesses. Kokushibo immediately recognizes something is wrong. The way Tanjiro moves, the way he uses sun breathing, the way he stands. happens. It all reminds him of Yoriichi. This time, Kokushibo goes all out right from the start, no holding back, but even then, Yoriichi is just too strong. The fight is way harder than the original battle, but eventually Tanjiro defeats him. Kokushibo remembers his brother one final time and finally lets himself go. Now with all the upper moons defeated, Muzan realizes the Demon Slayers have taken control of the Infinity Castle. Nakime dies, and everybody gets pulled out of the Infinity Castle for the Sundown Countdown arc. Now it's pretty easy to see what happens here. Tanjiro already knows the 13th form of sun breathing. The Hashira never get hit by that huge attack from Muzan because Tanjiro is constantly putting pressure on him. Muzan never gets a chance to gain control of the fight, and because Tanjiro is basically Yoriichi, he can keep fighting non-stop with sun breathing. So the entire battle becomes Tanjiro and the Hashira forcing Muzan back again and again until sunrise. Muzan never turns Tanjiro into the Demon King. The sun finally rises, Muzan burns away, and just like that, the Demon Slayer Corps wins. The ending is way better than the original timeline, with far more people surviving and getting to live normal lives afterward. I hope you guys really liked this video. Make sure to click on the video on your screen right now, and I'll see you guys in the next one.